It's time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode is brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. Your host, Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin today all alone. No Danny. Danny's nowhere to be found. But since he's gone, I did the next best thing, and I called Mara, who's in Ohio. You're on the road. Hey, Mara, what's going on?
Hey, not much. So you're not completely alone.
No. Actually, this is a little bit better. I don't have Danny bugging me.
Right? Peace and quiet.
Yeah, it is. It is quiet, you know. Actually, speak of the devil, I just got a text from him seeing if he could be on the show today, and he says he doubts that he'll be out of the woods in time. So, little guy, he must have heard us talking about him.
Yeah, seriously. The ears must have been itching.
Right. So, now Danny's in the UP. He's up north hunting. Opening week of deer season here in Michigan starts Tuesday. Yours truly cannot be up north due to work constraints. This will be the first opener I've missed in quite a while. I missed the year we had the house fire. I didn't go up. But besides that, it's been a long time that anything's gotten in the way.
Have you been seeing anything up there?
He didn't say. They didn't get in the woods yesterday. It was a setup day, I guess. I think he's still doing some archery hunting today. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll have to get a report from him tonight and maybe blast something out on our Facebook page. So.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully he's got some good luck. I know when he was up there a few weeks ago, he wasn't really seeing any deer, just real young does, right?
Yeah, he was very disappointed. Just a bunch of does, and they can't shoot does. It's they've locked that area down for any doe hunting, just because the deer numbers have been decreasing. But according to Danny, that's not the case, you know. So he's ready to shoot something.
Sure.
So, but you're on the road today. You're actually. You've been out hunting quite a bit. You had a successful season. You filled your buck tag, as we talked about a couple weeks ago. How does it feel to have a tag filled early in the season?
Pretty awesome, really. I mean, I shot that doe last year in like mid-October. And so shooting that buck this year, being my first buck in late October, it's weird. I've never been, because, you know, in Ohio, it's one buck only, and I've never been hunting, especially during rut, because I've been hunting with Cody and filming. I've never actually been hunting, but the feeling of being done, like, oh, I'm tagged out on a buck. Like, even if a monster walks in, you know, there's nothing I can do. I mean, it is what it is. It's just an odd feeling. It's kind of nice because I don't feel pressured. Like I have to get out there every chance I have.
Right.
But I'm sure that I'll probably go out after after gun season in a few weeks, and maybe do some late season, you know, shoot another doe.
Okay.
I thought about that because I got 78 pounds of meat back from my buck.
I saw that. That was huge.
So yeah, my freezer is like full. So I'm thinking about maybe shooting a late season doe and maybe donating it to the Farmers and Friends Feeding the Hungry program. That's a program we have in Ohio. Do you guys have a program like that up in Michigan?
Yeah, it's Hunters for the Hungry. We take the deer here, and we'll take them to a deer processor who participates in that program, and they will take the meat and give it to the food bank.
That's exactly what we do here in Ohio. So I am thinking about doing that because, you know, I have so many does at my property in Licking County where I've been hunting, not where I shot the buck, but on our actual private property. So I'm thinking after rut, maybe do a little bit of management out there. Cody and I can get some does killed. But Cody's still pursuing a buck. You know, he's trying to fill his buck tag, and we've seen a lot of rut action here. Cody and I we hunted yesterday morning and yesterday evening, and just driving around in between hunts, we saw two nice deer. One was locked on a doe right out in the middle of a field, and the other one was just monster. He was actually, we went to Cabela's yesterday to pick up a few things, and we were coming home from Cabela's on 71 North, and there was a monster buck. I just happened to be looking out the window right off the freeway, and there's a monster buck just walking through the woods, you know, strolling, doing that big buck walk they do. So
right.
They're definitely out strolling. Some are locked on does already, but in the stand, Cody and I haven't been seeing much. It's kind of been a lull.
Okay.
But we got a full moon coming, so I think there's going to be another phase of a lot of action soon.
Yeah, we got full moon right now, and I know Monday night moonrise is like at 5:50 in the evening. I mean, right as sunset, here comes the moon. So, it's going to be a lot of late night feeding, I think, for the does, and the bucks will be chasing. So it's going to prove to be
Cody
interesting.
And I got out of the stand yesterday, and we were like, holy crap, we're walking through. As soon as we stepped out of the woods and into the field we walked through, it was like daylight again. It was so weird. It was so bright.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy the way how that moon plays into it, as far as being bright out at night. I know Danny and I have talked about that quite a bit here in the last couple shows, and whether you believe in moon phase or not, but it definitely brightens the sky up so deer can feed at night. So.
Yeah, it does.
Do you guys experience that down there? I mean, you really don't hunt over traditional food plots, do you?
No, we don't. We hunt, right off of corn and bean fields, but not over actual food plots.
So do you see that down there with, like late night feeding when the moon's full and bright when there's no cloud cover?
Yeah, we do see that quite a bit out here, actually.
Okay, all right, right on.
So, yep.
So now you've been out with Cody in the stand, and now that you guys are actually getting ready to go out today, later this afternoon, correct?
Yeah, we're probably going to get in the stand here in a few hours because it's getting dark so dang early. It's getting sunsets at like 5:20 here in the evening. So, yeah, we'll get out probably around 2 o'clock or so and get out there, and hopefully Cody can get one killed. I don't know. We've been seeing a lot of deer at my property. That's where we're going tonight. But just little bucks, little young too. I mean, nice deer, but they've got way big potential to grow. They're like little 2.5-year-old bucks.
Yeah.
So it's really fun to hunt because we're seeing so many deer. I mean, they're walking right under us. And a couple nights ago, it was just getting dark. We had about 10 minutes left of shooting light, and like 4 does come crashing in the woods from a cornfield, and we look up, and there's a buck with his nose straight on the ground, running after him. So he was little, but seeing him push does around like that and run right under us, it's really fun, even if you're not seeing shooters or anything. It's just
right on.
It's just fun to see.
Well, and you hope if you see
that action.
If you see them little ones chasing, that maybe eventually a big one's going to come in and kick their butt, for trying to tend his does. That's hopefully the game they play. But
it could happen at any minute. A huge one could roll in there and kick out all those little bucks. There's like 3 or 4 little bucks that are hanging around all these does right now. So sooner than later, a big one's going to roll in.
Well, and
because Licking County in Ohio actually has the highest number of registered trophy deer taken in that county. So there's big deer out there.
Well, and you've had some experience with trail cam photo earlier in the year, if I remember right?
Yes. On the 4th of July, I had a real big one real early. It was like 5 in the morning come in. And granted, he was in full velvet. He wasn't even, he was only like maybe 3/4 of the way grown.
Right. So,
and he was big. So I know
potential. Definitely potential.
Yeah, he would definitely be. He was a shooter when he was in velvet back in July. So I can't imagine what he's like now.
Right on. Well, now, do you practice QDM on your property? I mean, I know it's a small piece of property, but do you and your neighbors around there, have you talked to your neighbors and talked about that?
Yeah, we have one neighbor who owns, there's our woods. It's kind of like beyond our woods is a big cornfield, and then there's another big chunk of woods. And the gentleman who hunts that big chunk of woods, he's real nice. He lives right down the road. I talked to him a few weeks ago, and he hadn't shot anything yet. But, yeah, he fills his freezer. He tags out every year on does, and last year he shot a real big buck. So I think he kind of targets the older does, and so he participates in the quality deer management. But I don't know if he's gotten anything this year or not. I have not run into him.
Okay, all right.
In a few weeks, but
is that something you've ever considered of trying to get started?
He definitely participates.
Have you ever thought about getting a co-op started in your area?
Yeah, we've thought about it. I mean, it's kind of hard because there's this little strip of woods behind mine, and the guy that owns it actually lets anyone who comes to his door, he lets them hunt for gun season. Okay. I've been bow hunting my property, during gun season for years now, and I'll be sitting in my stand and, you know, I'll see 2 or 3, 4 guys a day, different guys that aren't even together, wandering through our woods gun hunting.
Oh, through your woods?
Yeah, through our woods, yeah, because they don't stay on their side, you know, and they wander in. And I've actually gotten down out of my stand to talk to these guys, like, what are you doing? Like, you're trespassing, like, you know.
Right.
So, to an extent, you know, the neighbor that bow hunts, I mean, he knows what he's doing, and, you know, Cody and I know what we're doing out there, but when it comes, I mean, I don't know, come gun season, it's kind of like a free-for-all, and people trespass, and they do things they shouldn't, and you know they're shooting anything that moves. So it kind of scares me in a way. You know, even on private land, I don't really like to be out there during gun season.
I gotcha. Right on. Is your land posted?
Yeah, I do what I can, but it's hard when you've got all these random people that all have permission. It's like, you know, what can you do other than enforce, hey, these are property lines, you know. So
now, is your property posted?
In the very entrance of it, we have, like, posted no hunting, no fishing, no trespassing, but not. We should probably get some signs out along our lines, because our woods actually, like, the property line is in the woods between the two.
Gotcha.
Like ours and the neighbors, so we should probably go out there and put a couple signs up on the trees. We have them on the perimeter up front, but not in the back. But that might help. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, just a thought.
So.
You know. Yeah, you're talking about. You know,
what about you? When are you going back up to the cabin?
I'll be up the 19th of this month.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm leaving next Friday night after work when I get out of work, and I'll be hunting the 19th, I think, which is Saturday, whatever that Saturday date is. I believe it's the 19th, but. Yeah, I'm hoping to get back up, and you know, I've seen 2 nice bucks that I've got on trail cam, so it's time to get back up and get some stuff done. It's just work kind of shanghaied me this year, and you'd think with 27 years of seniority you'd be able to pull off a week off, but it didn't work this year.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, it's just one of those strange things, but in actuality, it might work out better due to the fact that. The Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday before Thanksgiving, I think I may be the only person at camp, which things will be quiet. And hopefully, as things settle down, maybe, just maybe, I might get a crack at one of them big ones. So, you know, we'll see.
Cool. Well, that's exciting.
Yeah. So, and if not, then, you know, it's going to be Phil Freezer, you know, targeting does as usual, practicing QDM. So, but, you know, I've kind of challenged our guys this year, you know, stop, take a look, take a serious look at what you're getting ready to pull the trigger on. Because, you know, if we're going to walk the walk, or if we're going to talk the talk, we got to let them walk, you know, let the little ones walk. So,
absolutely. I know that's like Cody. He's been passing deer left and right, you know, bucks bigger than the ones I shot. And to me, I'm like, oh my God, like, you're letting it walk. But then another side of me is like, okay, yeah, it's only like it's only a 2.5 or 3.5-year-old buck. Like, yeah, it's a nice deer, but in 2 years, I mean, the difference is huge. So we're trying on our few hunting spots that we do have. We're really trying to, you know, to grow and produce some nice big bucks. So.
Yeah. You know, and that's the thing I've noticed in the last 2 years. You know, I let a real nice 2.5-year-old walk last year that normally I'd have shot in a heartbeat. It wouldn't have been a second thought in letting him walk. And actually, I think I've got him on trail cam this year. And the difference in size is just incredible of what one year will do to a deer. Whether it's, you know, if you're starting out with QDM and you're letting 1.5-year-old bucks go to 2.5 or 2.5 go to 3.5 or so on. It makes a huge difference. It really does.
It does. Yeah, it does.
And I think a lot of guys, they just don't understand, you know, they look at antler size, you know, and really think about antler structure versus body size and body types. And
it's important to know how to age them, you know, on the hoof. I mean, that's very important because you really can't judge a deer by its antler size. I mean, the one that I shot, really when I shot it, Cody and I are both like, you know, just judging it on the rack, we're like, oh, it's probably a 3.5-year-old. Yeah. Well, it definitely was. And once we recovered him and we saw how big and massive his body was and how much gray he had in his face and how his teeth were worn and everything, you know, I opened up his mouth and looked in there. And, I mean, I'm like, this was a very old deer with just not good genetics. He was probably just past his prime.
Right.
So it's, people should not be judging them on antler size. Seriously, you've got to look at their body.
Yeah, and that's what I've noticed in the last year. You know, the difference just from letting the one go and then seeing what I saw this year. during our late, archery season, the last 2 days that I was out, it's eye opening. And then when you see the proof in the putting on trail cam as well, it's it's encouraging to know that you're doing the right thing and letting those younger bucks walk. So.
Sure.
But I tell you what, we're running up on 15 minutes here. Let's step outside. We'll take our first break, and we'll be right back after this.
I shoot PSE because I like 1 pin to 40 yards.
I shoot PSE for the perfect combination of feel and performance.
I shoot PSE because you can shoot lighter poundage and increase arrow speed.
I shoot PSE for the fastest bows on the planet.
I shoot PSE because my livelihood depends on my bow.
I shoot PSE because better engineering makes a better bow.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE.
I shoot PSE. I shoot PSE.
Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back. Second segment of the show. Still online here, or via phone, Skype, whatever you want to call it, with Mara Daugherty down in Ohio. Has Cody got his dinner yet, or lunch? You said he stopped and got something to eat.
He just came back in the car with his lunch, but he's a happy camper.
Okay.
From Wendy's, a little 4-for-4 meal.
There you go. Well,
that's a good deal. Let me tell you, we can both eat for $8. Heck yeah.
That's a good deal. You got to like that.
Yep.
I was hoping yesterday to get some venison burger at Arby's and kind of ran into a snafu with that. But I'll talk about that in the last segment of the show.
What happened there?
It's not being prepared, I guess, is the best way to explain it. But I'm going to wake Jacob up here in a few minutes in the last segment of the show. We'll talk about that and what happened with that ordeal. If you haven't seen what I posted on Facebook already, so
for those of you, who haven't seen that video, make sure you go to our Facebook page and watch it because it's pretty funny.
I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, Cody and I watched it and we were cracking up. We both shared it. Funny.
Well, you get something in your mind that you want, and you prepare and you make a trip, and when you get there and there isn't any, it's quite disappointing. It's.
Absolutely.
I won't say it was as bad as not getting the Christmas gift you want as a kid after you open all your gifts at Christmas, but it was. I was pretty devastated. I wasn't as devastated as some of the people at the election this week. Oh, I didn't say that, did I?
Seriously. Seriously, people are freaking out. A lot of my classes were canceled, and they were offering counseling at my school. Man. Nuts.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Well, I don't want to get into that. We could talk for hours, but something I do want to talk about. You've been out in the field. You were successful. Cody's he's out right now, and he's chasing bucks. There was a product we talked about last year at ATA that you used, and a nose jammer, and you were touting it last year. Are you still using that product?
Yes, Cody and I are both still using nose jammer, and we love it. We seriously can't get enough of it. We're very good at scent control with our clothing. We wash all of our clothing in scent-free, scent killer, and then we put them away in tubs and do this and that. But before we put them away in tubs, we'll spray them down a little bit with nose jammer because they make those scent-free duffel bags and scent killer stuff, but we just use basic plastic tubs, and so we don't want them picking up any of that plastic smell, so we'll actually spray some nose jammer on our clothes before we put them away.
Okay.
And then when we get them out, they smell, for those of you that don't know what nose jammer is, it's not necessarily a cover scent, but it's a scent that you can use on yourself, your clothing, your gear, your boots, whatever. And it's a sweet smelling. It's made up of all these natural elements that are found in the woods, so it doesn't spook game. It actually perks the deer's curiosity. It's sweet, and they kind of want to eat it. Mm-hmm. So it works like a charm. I mean, Cody and I will use it when we put our clothes away. We'll use it when we put our clothes on. And we'll walk into the woods, you know, with it on the bottom of our boots and stuff. And I have footage of, like, countless little bucks and stuff coming in this year. And they'll go right to the path we walked in on and put their nose down and start sniffing. And they'll lick. And they'll try and actually, like, kind of lick and trying to eat our footsteps. I mean, it's amazing. It's really amazing what that stuff can do. So if you haven't tried that product, I recommend getting out there. It comes in like an aerosol can, and you can also get like a hair wash. It comes in a bunch of different kinds of, you know, applicators. But the aerosol can is nice because you just spritz it on you, you know, right before you go in, and I guarantee you will see a difference. I mean, the deer, a lot of times deer will come where you walked, and, you know, it'll kind of spook them. They'll get a whiff of you and be like, ew, you know, but not with nose jammer. I mean, they actually walk down the path you come in on. And we saw it last year and this year, so that stuff really works. So it's a great product.
I heard that from somebody actually at Cabela's. Not this year, past year, but the year previous when we were down. Actually, when we met you, we were talking to a lady down there and interviewed her.
It was probably Delma.
Yeah, Delma. Yeah, and she used it and give us the same results with it. You know, she told us that it works great. So, yeah, it's something I'm going to have to get in my bag and try out here this rifle season for sure.
Yep. And if you know, some of these days, especially like Cody and I, you know, we hunt the mornings and it's 25, 30 degrees in the morning. I know it's usually a little colder up in Michigan. So we're freezing, but on, like, you know, the walking out of the stand around 10 o'clock or whatever, or walking back into the stand around 3, you know, we work, even though we don't wear all of our layers, we'll just walk in our long johns basically. But holy cow, we work up a sweat, and, you know, just spritzing a little bit more of that nose jammer on you, I mean, it takes it right away. It takes away your just natural body scent and replaces it with all these, you know, curiosity scents that deer seem to love, a sweetness factor. It smells like vanilla when you put it on, really. So
yeah, I remember you at
wear
ATA
it as
last
perfume
year.
if you want. Remember, I sprayed Danny with it at ATA.
He smelled like vanilla for the rest of the day. So
yeah.
But well, no, that's cool. That's you know, something definitely to think about and put it in your bag of tricks when you get out there in the woods. Give it a try and see how it works for you. But you know,
yeah, especially if you have a iffy wind or whatever, you know, it's good stuff.
Right on. Well, you know, last week Danny and I, we threw out a couple deals on the minicast, and I'd just kind of like to get your take on some of the ways, things that you use in the field, and one of them is lighting, artificial lighting out in the field, whether it's going to the stand, coming out of the stand in the dark, or maybe when you're tracking a deer. What kind of light do you use when you're out in the field and you need artificial light?
I don't use anything special, really. I like the LED stuff because it doesn't come off as yellow. It comes off more as a white light.
Right.
But yeah, getting in and out of the stand, really, I have a real old headgear. I don't really use it. I used to use it, but I haven't used it in a couple seasons. But you can either switch it on to red or green because deer are supposed to not be able to see those as well when you're walking in, when it's, you know, when there's no moon or when it's real cloudy.
Right.
But yeah, any light like that with red or green, that can seriously come in handy. But yeah, when I'm tracking, I noticed, especially watching, because I recorded all the recovery footage of my buck, and seeing we had a couple friends with us to help us track, and seeing their lights go across the deer. Some of them were like real yellow, and it was really hard to see. And then some of the lights, the LED ones, were real, like a bright white, and it was way easier to, you know, to find the blood and stuff like that with the LED lights. So yeah, I mean, not a particular brand, but I like any of the LED stuff.
Gotcha. Makes sense. That's what I use as well. So
yeah, there's those tactile lights at Cabela's that people love, and then there's also, I've never actually used them. I don't know if you have, but I can't remember the name, but they're a light specifically to track. They're supposed to illuminate blood in the dark.
Yeah, I've not walked behind one of those before.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I've heard of them, but I've not used one. Yep.
Yeah, I haven't either. Maybe we should invest in one and try it out. I don't know. They're expensive, but people I've talked to that have used them say they work, but I don't know. I think it's something you probably have to get out there and try for yourself. Right on.
Yep. Now, the next thing we did on a minicast was we were talking about knives. The knives that we use for just basic woodsmanship, what we have in our backpack when we gut a deer, whether it has a gut hook or not. How do you break the pelvic bone, or do you break the pelvic bone, and what do you use? So when it comes to those types of tools, what do you got in your backpack?
I have an older knife, Cody. I don't even know what brand it is, but it's a real sharp. Cody said they use these kind of knives when they go coon hunting and skin the coons, because coons have pretty thick hides, you know, and it's actually a very small knife with just a super sharp blade. I'll have to ask. I'll find it. It's probably in my bag somewhere. I could post a picture on the Up North Journal site for those who want to see it. But it works really well. It's what I actually cut the hide of my buck when I was cutting him. I cut it with that knife, and it's so tiny that you can just slip it right under those layers and just pull up. It doesn't have a hook on it or anything.
Okay. Yeah.
We didn't break the pelvic bone or anything with my deer. And so I've never really used, some people get those saws and cut through the rib cage and stuff. I just grab up in there and cut the esophagus, get in there like shoulder length and cut, because I don't really like cutting bone.
Right.
And bone can get sharp when it's cut too.
Right.
I've been cut by bone before that's broken, so
yes.
I just do it the old school way and just shove my arm up there and it'll cut the esophagus out. So I don't have a whole gutting, field dress gut kit that you need to saw bone with and stuff. We kind of do it without having to get into all that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, a real thin, nice skinning knife really is all we use.
Yeah, that's
on my deer.
That's kind of the way I've went. Back in the day is like, everybody come out with these big Bowie knives or survival knives you strap on your side.
Right.
And I'm more of a mindset, something small that you can pack away, or, it doesn't take up a lot of room, doesn't weigh a lot. If it's sharp, it's going to do the job, And that's kind of my mindset as well. Now, last year you the doe you shot, you actually tanned the hide on. What did you use to flesh that with?
It was actually pretty darn fleshed when I got it. The processor actually, I just paid a little bit of like $20 or whatever, and they gave me they skinned her out and gave me the hide. And then to flesh her out, Cody actually had this from scraping coon hides, and it's like a metal hide scraper really, and it's big and heavy duty. So I just nailed it to a board and went to town.
I gotcha. Okay, so you didn't use a knife or nothing like that. I know some people, depending on what kind of...
Yeah, she really didn't have much skin on her to flesh out, really. I mean, she was pretty well off.
Okay.
So we just used a hide scraper a little bit.
Okay. Now,
that's how we got that done.
On the other mini cast, we talked about when you get a deer. Okay. Now, I know you've taken yours to the processor, but if you weren't taking it to a processor, I don't know, maybe Cody can answer this, as well. When you hang do you hang your deer, and how long, if you do, how long do you hang them before you skin them?
The first deer I ever shot, my dad and I, it was kind of a young doe, and my dad and I actually drug it all the way up to our barn and hung it in the rafters of our barn and actually gutted it in the barn. We did everything in the barn.
Okay.
And we let it hang there overnight, and then we took it to the processor the next day.
Okay.
So quartering out and cutting my own meat, I haven't gotten to that point yet. I would love to get a good butcher kit and start doing that.
Okay.
But yeah, we hung her overnight, and granted, it was like 50 degrees that night, so it was not super warm, but not super cold either.
Right.
I mean, that was out of the deer I've harvested, it was definitely the most tender and tasty one of the three, and I have not hung the other two, so
okay.
I think it did make a difference.
Now, have you eaten any of the deer that you got this year yet?
Not yet. I have not.
Okay. It'd be interesting to see, being that it was an older buck, how that compares to the other deer you've eaten, if you see a big difference.
I think I probably will, but I don't know. I don't know. I need to cook up some steaks because I've got all of his backstrap, and then I just put everything else in the ground because being such an old deer, I was worried that the roast and stuff would be too tough.
Right on. I got you.
So I just got ground. So yeah, I'll probably make some in the next week or two, and when I do, I'll let you know.
Okay.
What it's like.
I'll tell you what, if you guys do happen to get a few other deer in your thinking about it, maybe just take and if you can debone it and just package the meat up. If you want to save it and come up, but Danny and I are going to do some sausage this year. Maybe we'll just have a big weekend party get together where we just grind a bunch of pork and deer venison and
That
put it into
would be
sausage.
fun. Heck yeah.
Do some summer sausage. So.
You guys have big grinders and stuff?
Not yet. I've got the money set back, and I'm just waiting for Cabela's to have their Black Friday sale, so I can make my trip there and pick one up. So yeah, I've already got one picked out. I'm going to get the commercial grade grinder, the half horse.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Yep.
I'm not going to chintz out on it. We're going to do it. We're going to do it right. And I got
go big or go home, right?
Right. And he's got the meat mixer, tumbler to mix everything once you grind it and mix it with the seasoning. And then I've got a smoker that I just got this year. So we're going to try our hand at it and see what we can come up with. So hopefully it'll work out.
Cool. Yeah, that'll be fun, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good winter project. Get everybody together.
Yeah, Cabela sells a ton of stuff to do, your own meat processing and stuff like that. They have a huge section in the camping department.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're bumping up on the last part of our segment here, so why don't we step outside, and we'll be right back after this.
So what do you do when you've completely redefined the way bows are engineered? When you've reached the pinnacle and the band starts playing your victory song, you start a revolution out of thin air. Introducing the all-new PSE Carbon Air, engineered with true carbon technology to be the lightest high-performance bow in the world. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters. And the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
Welcome back to the segment of the show. Still online here, talking via Skype with Mara down in Ohio. Has he got his lunch eat now? Has Cody got his lunch all taken care of?
Yeah, he's been munching while I've been talking to you.
Okay.
He's a happy camper, yeah.
Yeah. Well, he's out hunting big bucks and everything, Something else I know it's a passion of his is fishing. Is he doing any fall fishing, or has he talked about it?
He has definitely been talking about fishing this fall, but he's been hunting. I mean, he's literally been hunting every day for the past, week and a half. So he has not gotten out to go fishing, but he's definitely talked about it. I know a couple of his friends have been fishing local lakes around here and have been catching real big fish, big smallmouth and stuff that are getting ready for winter. They're eating a bunch, they're biting like crazy because they're eating so much. So
right on.
He needs to get out and winterize his boat. It's not going to be very fun running around the lake when it's 40 degrees. It'll be a little cold, but
right. Yeah.
I'm sure maybe in the next week or so we'll take a little break from hunting and get out there and get that fuel run out and get his boat cleaned and buttoned up for winter. And while we're at it, we'll do a little bit of fall fishing.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. That's always fun.
Right. I know I've never really fished with him with the fall because I've always been hunting. So now that I have my deer coat, I'm like, hey, let's go. I'll be okay with going fishing as long as I've got the right clothes on to stay warm out there.
Yeah. So. Now that I'm tagged out, I can go fishing.
Right. I know I've never been done this early before. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, congrats, man. That's got to be a good feeling.
It is. Yeah. I've been waiting, for this for years.
Right.
So.
On. Well, it's something else.
It's kind of surreal that it's finally here.
You've got school going on. You're done with hunting now. You got school going on, and you've been working on some stuff here behind the scenes a little bit. I know you have. Yeah. I know you don't want to give up all the details, but what can you tell us?
Well, I have been working on quite a big project. Really, almost all since summer, I've been working on this thing, and it's a big project for Up North Journal as well as school. I am in an independent study this semester, and I am going to be turning it in for a grade here shortly. With your help, Mike, we're getting it buttoned up and getting it finished. So I'm not going to say what it is or when I'll be releasing it, but it's big. It's probably the biggest thing I've ever done. I'm really excited about it, and it's not quite finished yet, but I'm really happy with it. And I think, all of our fans of Up North Journal, I think you guys are really going to like it. So as soon as I get the okay and get it done, it might be a few months, but I will, just stay tuned, and I'll be posting updates. And one of these days I will release what I've been working on.
Yeah.
So
winter or spring, hopefully. Hopefully,
Yep.
we'll.
Yep.
And don't be PMing me and asking me what it is, because I'm not going to tell.
Yes, it's kind of a secret between me and Cody and Up North Journal, and the only people who know about it really are Up North Journal and my family.
Yeah,
so
right on. So
and my professors are going to know about it. But yeah.
Very cool stuff. So
Yep.
But you've been busy. You've been busy hunting. Hopefully, do some
very
fishing.
Busy, yeah.
School and working on a project, and Christmas is around the corner, and man, before you know it, we're going to be rolling into 2017.
I know. I've got like 4 weeks left of this semester, and then I've got exams, and I'm on Christmas break. I'm like, where did the time go?
Right on.
And it's weird that Cody's been my cameraman for the past 2 years, really, and so now that I'm kind of his cameraman, it's fun. I enjoy it because I love being behind the camera as well as in front of it. So I'm having fun. Best of both worlds this year.
Right on. Yeah. That's something I hadn't asked you about. Really, is being on the other side now of the lens. And working with him. How does that feel? It's pretty
fun. I mean, I filmed him a little bit here and there, and I always film him fishing. But hunting is so different.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot more like cinematography that can go into hunting than just fishing. It's hard to get different shots and incorporate different things when you're on the same boat as someone. There's only so much creativity there.
Right.
But when you're in the woods, and my dad helped me build a slide this year to get some really cool shots with a camera slide. My camera gets mounted to some bars, and you can slide it across for. It's different than a pan. It's like your camera stays in the same spot and it slides. So that's been awesome, and we've gotten some really cool footage hunting this year. And I really do enjoy being behind the camera. I don't mind it at all. So it's been fun, and I know Cody's happy that he's like, yeah, I finally feel like I can hunt now.
Right? Yeah, the pressure's off him. Yeah, he can hunt. Right on. So. No, that's cool. It's it gives you a different perspective of things, and I've always said to the new kids that come into the station where I work, and when they go out on commercial shoots and things, and I'm like, once you start shooting and editing your own video, it'll make you a better videographer. It definitely does. So
right.
Because then you have to work around your own mistakes. It makes it
right,
tough.
Yeah,
so.
It makes you more well-rounded, I think, when you can, be in front of it as well as behind it, and you get to appreciate shots a lot more.
Sure. Absolutely.
So.
Well, that's cool. It's all good stuff, and I'm glad you guys are out having fun and having fun doing what you're doing. That's the best thing about hunting and rolling video and the whole 9 yards. It's just a good time out there. So.
Yeah, we're having a great time. Yeah, even if he does, he's totally content. Even if he doesn't kill a buck this year,
Right
he's
on.
Waiting on that right one.
Right on.
So.
Well, listen, I know you guys are on the road. I know you're heading out hunting here in less than probably an hour and a half. So I'm going to let you go. You guys, good luck this evening. And if you get anything, definitely give us a shout out on Facebook and let us know how you did.
Yep, we definitely will. Thanks. It was great talking with you.
All right, y'all take care.
The 2015 Dream Season Decree is a deadly combination of speed and precision. It's built for the moments when time stands still. When the only thing that will break the silence is an arrow slicing a clean path to the kill zone. The bow of your dreams is a nightmare for big game. This is PSE's Decree. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
We know the future of hunting depends on our nation's youth. But did you know that in many states, it's illegal for you to take your son or daughter hunting until the age of 12 or even older? As a result, we have fewer young hunters, and the Families Afield program is designed to eliminate those barriers. Hunting is safe, and the safest hunters afield are young people with adult mentors. Visit our website at familiesafield.org to find out how you can bring more families afield.
welcome back to the last segment of the show. Everybody's sitting here in the cabin. I was all alone. Mara was on the phone. She hung up, but now I've got Jake down here. Been a long time since you've been on the show, man. What's going on?
Not much.
Hanging out here in the cabin, filling the seat for Danny. So, how's that feel?
It's pretty low, but
man, been ripping on him the whole show. Everybody has. So, but now Danny's up north still. He's up in the north woods and getting ready for deer season. But the reason we got you on the show is you and I had a little adventure yesterday.
Yes, we did.
And we kind of talked about this deal with Arby's having venison sandwiches. They put it all over the internet. It's supposed to be for 4 days. And fortunately, here in Michigan, we had 2 stores in our area, or restaurants, that were actually going to serve these things. When I say in our area, they were at the north side of the county and in the next county, actually. So the nearest one was 30 miles away. The next one was 35 miles away. So we had some running around to do yesterday. You wanted to go up to Best Buy and pick up some stuff for a computer that you're building. And got to say, nice job on the computer, too, by the way. It's turned out quite nice. But so we're going to go get our venison on. Not that we don't have venison here, but, I got to thinking, a fast food restaurant's going to do venison. What's this going to taste like? Where, is it going to be good? Is it going to be what we expect? Is it going to be a flop? So we thought, well, what the heck? We'll go spend a few bucks and go up there and try them out. And we got up there to the store, pulling in the parking lot. Place is pretty packed, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, most of the spots are parking.
Yeah, we had to kind of park towards the back, and you could see when we pulled in, the restaurant was pretty moderately, full of people sitting in there eating for a Saturday morning. This was about 11:30 when we got there, roughly.
Yeah.
So we make our way into the store, and there's a lady in an Arby's uniform right at the door, and she says, "Sorry, if you're here for the venison burgers, we're sold out." What's Arby's slogan?
We have the meats.
They had all the meats but
venison.
Exactly. They were sold out. They've been pushing this on the internet for weeks, and they're supposed to run for 4 days, and they sold out the very first morning. And she told us they sold out in 12 minutes. How do you put on an ad campaign and sell out in 12 minutes is what I'd like to know. And they had 100 sandwiches. Really? 100 sandwiches for people in the Michigan area that would be heading north on the Saturday before the opening day of deer season, firearm deer season. And they're promoting venison sandwiches, and you have 100 to sell.
Yeah, it's kind of lowballing it just by a little bit.
Right. And then she said they actually got an extra 25.
So they originally had 75.
Yeah. So where did they get the extra 25 from?
I don't know.
They go out and shoot a deer?
Maybe.
Bring it in, cut it up.
Took it off a guy's truck.
Grill it, and throw it on the sandwich, I don't get it, Put it this way, Arby's, really disappointed. You really blow this thing up, And we even talked about, kind of pushed it across our social media pages here at the Up North Journal, and we're waiting for this. And and I kind of figured they may run out at some point, but I didn't figure they'd run out on the very first day.
In 12 minutes.
In 12 minutes, I mean, really, come on, Arby's, what's up with that? So. They are going to send us some coupons via email. They said we give them our email address. They give us a free sandwich that day, and they give us a little card for another free sandwich on our next visit. But we drove 30 miles, 60 miles round trip, 60 round trip to get this silly sandwich to give it a shot, and I was left with nothing in my mouth. So, were you disappointed?
Yeah, I was kind of upset.
You work in the fast food industry.
Yeah, I work at McDonald's, and later that day I actually had to go to work, and I talked to my manager, and it was like, we went to Arby's to get this fast food, and they were promoting it, and I told her there was only 100, and she's just like, what? Then why would you only make 100? It's like, you've been promoting it for so long, why would you only have 100 in stock? It seems like you'd have well more than that. Like, probably over 1,000 or something like that.
Right. But,
especially in Michigan.
Yeah, and that's what kind of buffaloes me is the fact that, and there were selected cities across the United States that were going to have these, but here in Michigan, there was a couple, and she said actually the other store just north of us sold out as well. So not very good planning on their part. But you brought up a good observation. We were on the way to the restaurant, and on the freeway, we were driving up the freeway, and on the side of the road there's a billboard, and actually I think I noticed it, but you made the comment. It was Cracker Barrel, and it said, on certain days, spring-fed trout dinners, fish dinner, so spring-fed trout. And you said, what's up with, all of a sudden, is everybody going back to wild game style meat?
Yeah, it seems kind of odd. Just everyone's going to that.
Well, yeah, it's, we get a lot of flack out in the media, or from even people who don't like hunting or fishing, it's cruel, this, that, or the other, or people who are anti-meat. But yet, still, we're starting to see, we got trout dinners, spring-fed trout here at Cracker Barrel. Now we got a venison sandwich. How many places are coming back with some different wild game dinners or foods, or even though that we know they're farm raised, and we know that it's not wild venison, we know that it's from a deer farm. But is there a trend starting back? I don't know.
I'd hope so.
Yeah.
Change it up a bit.
Yeah. Well, do you guys? I mean, I don't know. I don't think Mickey D's has anything would be considered wild game. No buffalo or bison burgers or nothing like that.
No.
And really the only place I can think of here in our area, generally speaking, that just sticks out off the top of my mind is Cabela's. The big store down in Dundee. They've got their cafeteria down there. And they sell bison burger. They sell elk burgers. Those are the only things that I really think that kind of lend itself to being wild game-ish, so to speak. So, I don't know. What do you think? You think it'd make a comeback? You think they ought to start selling some more of this stuff like that?
They should. I mean, they'd probably be a lot healthier than... I mean, it's still fast food, but it'd probably be healthier than the meat they're making now.
Yeah. I don't even want to ask what's in some of the meats. So, being that you work behind the counter, you may know a little more than I'm care to know. So
I haven't seen too many nasty things.
That's good. That's good. Because I like Mickey D's. Danny teases me about it a lot here, but yeah, I'm kind of partial. I haven't had a lot of their fast food as far as lunch menus items lately. I'm sticking more to the breakfast side of things and what is considered healthy, like the oatmeal and the egg white delight type stuff. The stuff that's a little more wholesome. And their coffee, I like their coffee as well. But no, we just thought we'd throw that out there. We talked about it, but I had a response on Facebook. I posted a video over on our Up North Journal page. Everybody seemed to kind of get a kick out of that, but it was heartfelt, and it's just the way I felt at the time, because I was very disappointed after making that trip up there, expecting something and not getting it. It's just kind of like getting ready to go open up a Christmas present as a kid, and you want this special toy, and then when you open everything up, it's not there.
Yeah.
So.
Or in socks.
Yeah, socks and underwear. So, but. We haven't had you on the show in a while.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Getting fired up for deer season. I know you're not going to be able to go the opening week, but you're anticipating on getting to go after Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I want to get out there and get something.
Yeah, definitely get you out there in the woods, and hopefully we can put some meat in the freezer. So we'll look forward to that, and maybe talk a little bit about that after we get back from that trip. So
maybe we could take a deer to Arby's and they'll make one for us.
There you go.
Bring your own meat.
There you go. Then they'll have the meat, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, they need to think about that slogan, that we have the meats. They didn't have it that day. So, but other than that, we know it's firearm deer season coming up this week. If you guys are traveling, or you're listening to us on the way to deer camp, we appreciate it. Or maybe you're listening to us on your iPod or your phone in the deer blind, we appreciate it. Just as you're out there, make sure you know what you're shooting at. Know your target and know what's behind your target. You guys be safe out there. And as we've always said here, shoot straight, be safe. This episode was brought to you by PSE Archery,
Black Eagle Arrows,
Cabela's,
Antler Action,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Tom's Custom Turkey Calls,
Family Traditions Tree Stands,
and Badass Slingshots.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.